Caswell State Park, containing around 258 acres, was created in 1952 as a public memorial state park that houses several endangered species of animals. The Caswell State Park was originally owned by Thomas Caswell, a man who loved the beautiful forest and attempted to save Caswell by donating 134 acres of Caswell State Park to his kids and grandkids, which was later donated to the state. This land was inhabited originally by the Yokuts tribe, dating back as early as 1770. This tribe lived and died in this land, which makes it very important for the history of the Central Valley, and one of the reasons why we chose this as our sacred spot.
We are here today in Caswell State Park, the last untouched riparian woodlands in Central California. The Yokut tribe once thrived in this beautiful area, but was wiped out by Spanish settlers. Back in 1770, the Yokuts numbered as much as 18,000 up and down Central California, but by 1910 they were numbered as little as 533. So how did the Yokuts get here? How did they live? What were some of their ceremonies like? And how is this a sacred place today? We will be covering all this today with you at Caswell State Park.
Here at Caswell State Park, there is a variety of resources that the Yokuts used to feed their families and clothe their families as well. As you can see, here is the Stanislaus River, where they use for a water source as well as fishing and hunting.
So the Yokuts that lived in this area have a very interesting creation story. It tells of an eagle and a crow that were flying over a world completely covered in water, when suddenly they see a tree stump. They decide to land on the stump and catch as much fish as they can. Then a duck swims up, and they realize the duck can swim very deep down in the water. So they make a deal with him. If he is to gather mud and bring it to them, then they will exchange him for fish, and so that way he can keep working. After some time, the piles of mud are getting bigger and bigger, and they are evenly split between the eagle and the crow. The eagle decides to fly off and see if he can find land in a different place. When he comes back, he realizes that the crow has been very selfish with his mud, and his pile is much bigger. In a little while, the rains come, and they wash some of the piles away, and what's left is hardened by the sun. The result is that the crow's stack is much smaller than the eagle's now. The eagle's was much taller and greater. These stacks of mud became what is known as the Sierra Nevada Mountains, and then the coastal hills that make the valley what it is today. Caswell State Park is almost directly in the middle of the two. This is almost like the Fertile Crescent of the valley.
So now that we've talked about life and creation in the Yokuts tribe, let's explore a little bit of how they valued death. Cremation and burials were very significant to the Yokuts tribe. When the bodies were buried, they were buried in such a way that their heads faced northwest. The Yokuts tribe believed that the afterworld was in the west. So when the soul came up out of the body 2 days later, they had an idea as to where to go to the afterworld. Every year, the Yokuts would hold a 6-day ceremony, sometime around the summer or fall, to mourn the dead. This ceremony included ritual killing, symbolic washing of mourners, and destruction of property. This ceremony usually ended with feasting and games, and often involved other villages around the area.
So why is Caswell State Park a sacred site? Well, this is the last untouched, preserved park in the Central Valley, where you can actually go and drink from the river that breathed life into the Yokuts tribe. This river is a symbol of creation, life, and death for the tribe and for the plants and wildlife around it.
So why is Caswell State Park a sacred site? To me, it's a sacred site because it has all the components necessary for life. We told you about the creation story and how this land got here. Told you about how the Yakuts celebrated their death. And we told you about the river, how it runs through and provided life for all the animals and plant life necessary to survive here. For me, it's a nice place to come where it's quiet and untouched by man. Surrounded by cities all around, you can come here and you can tell by the tranquility of the area how you can just clear your head and walk and think and walk the same ground that the Native Americans used to walk.
Why is Caswell State Park a sacred place to me? As someone who hunts and fishes, I know what it's like to go deep inside the forest with no technology and nothing around to help you. The Yakuts lived off of the water source, the animals, and the plants. There was no hospitals to save you when someone got injured or any vehicles to drive around long distances. All they could do was walk and use the resources around them. If California was submerged in water, I believe Caswell State Park should be a sacred place because it is a place that life can flourish, but also a place that can take life away. And when you have that combination, you tend to find yourself in that land. It's a place where you have to be at peace with death and enjoy life. And to me, that embodies what a sacred place should be. Thank you guys for watching this presentation. We hope you enjoyed it.